Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be going through my team selection for game week 10. But as has always been the trend, before we get into that, I'd like to take us through the AI predicted points, and usually what helps to inform my transfers and help to inform how my team gets selected. Uh, Going back to the predicted points, starting with the goalkeepers, obviously, we do notice that still the same usual suspects still appearing for specifically game week 10 that we are going into. We do notice that Kelleher is looking good. He's looking at the top of the list, but then you still notice because of his not limited minutes going forward, because we do know Alisson may be coming back after the November international break. Those minutes are what is affecting his overall points in the next game weeks. So we still see Raya still standing out after the next 5 game weeks. So we do hope the Arsenal defense can be able to pick up and then at least help to improve the Raya clean sheets going forward. They have not at least gotten a clean sheet in a while now, but we've been knowing about their different defense frailties, and hopefully they can pick up going forward. We did get some important news about one of their defenders that we shall talk about as we proceed. So we do notice Ederson still also makes an appearance. They finally managed to keep a clean sheet recently. Then we do have Leno, Sales, who most of you have been going for, and he didn't manage to get an assist in the previous game week as well. Then we have Pickford, Morik, and Flecken. That's how it looks for the keepers. So then we go directly to the defenders. Virgil is still a standout because of his attacking returns going forward as well. Then Trent still looks good as well. His attacking forward, his returns have not been up to par to what we expect of him. He was crucial still in the Arsenal 2 goals with more of what we call pre-assists. But those that own him like me, we do hope he can be able to pick it up in the next at least 3 game weeks. He still leads in the next 5 game weeks as well as he's high in this game week as well. Robertson, we did see him get subbed off, but because he was having difficulty with Saka, so that is to be watched for those that own him on if they will use Simicas, or but that also all depends also on how the midweek games go. Like I mentioned on Monday, Liverpool is one of those teams that will be playing at Brighton itself again in the midweek. So we do have Luke Davis as well. They play Leicester, and I think that's what puts him high because he has very good attacking returns as well. Pedro Porro, who most of you are running impatient with, and then Virgil van Dijk, who looks like one of the main nailed Liverpool assets and is one of the highest scoring defenders right now. Gabriel is one of the people we wanted to talk about. We did have some information from Ateta where they mentioned that the injury he got, it wasn't as bad as we feared. But at the end of the day, it's still an Ateta update, so it's something to be questioned on whether he's lying to us or whether he's telling the truth. Robinson also makes an appearance on the list for those that own him. Going into the midfielders, we do see obviously Salah leading here. He's very high, and I think he's a very good captaincy shout going forward. I think in the next 3 game weeks, he does look good. That's why you see even in the next 5, he's the highest, followed by Palmer, who also looks very good. We do know the Chelsea fixtures will look much better after the international break. Saka makes an appearance. Eze, who's looking very good as well, he finally returned with an assist in the previous game week. Bruno Fernandes, whom I know very many of you are getting tired of. Foden, Mbuemo, who's a must-have at this point, and lastly Bowen, who has also been returning. So that's how our midfielders look like. Going directly to our strikers is going to be one of the big talking points of this week and going forward. Personally, I'm going to mention as I get into my team selection, but I'm thinking of selling Haaland. Yes, that's the truth, and I'll explain further when I get into my team. So yes, still Haaland looks very good for this game week. They're playing Bournemouth, which usually has a very good defense, as we saw against Arsenal before the red card. But they'll be away to Bournemouth, and it looks good with the 6.5 expected points for this game week and the 30.4 in the next 5 game weeks. We do look at the likes of Solanke, who personally from what I've seen, hasn't convinced me yet. But according to the AI predicted points, he comes in second for this game week. We do have Isak, who returned and hopefully can pick up his game going forward. We have Darwin, who's going to be nailed for a while until at least the next international break, because we did confirm that Jota will be out for a while, at least until the next international break. So he has a good run of like 3 more games. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Watkins himself, and Cunha. Cunha did appear in our watch list on Monday because of the Wolves fixtures that look good. Him and Ain Nori are some of those to bring in, but as we mentioned, for Ain Nori in defense, he's one to monitor because he has his one yellow card away from a suspension, and then Jackson as well. So that's how our strikers appear. Now going directly into my team selection, as I've mentioned earlier, I'm very close, or as I've said, I'm thinking of selling Haaland. As you look at the team right now, it currently has no Haaland because I wanted to prioritize on bringing in a stronger midfield. What is my thinking point? Now, here's what I'm thinking. I believe I can get cover or get good strikers that can be able to return as well as Haaland. Not obviously as high scoring as Haaland, but as we know, FPL is a game of timing. You have to bring in people in the right time. Now, the Man City fixtures personally do not look good for me. And secondly, the team itself has not been playing as best as as we have known it before. The midfield itself is lacking, which is greatly affecting Haaland because supply is not as good. Yes, he's been taking the most shots inside the box, but if you look at the trend in the last two games, he's not had that much supply. And from what we are seeing, we don't expect the De Bruyne as very soon. So it's until probably I'll get to see De Bruyne and get someone who's at least very well nailed to play the Rodri role that I think going forward I'll be avoiding most of the Man City assets. I'm thinking of probably maintaining a Foden instead of a Haaland, and then I'll be able to use that money to fund my midfield greatly. So I'm thinking of getting at least 3 or 4 more premiums. My midfield having around 3 or 4 premiums, who I believe should be able to cover the Haaland loss. Now we do know, obviously, being midfielders, they do them scoring a goal, them assisting, their points, expected points as per the game are usually higher than that of a striker. So you find even in the event that a striker has, for example, scored 2 goals, he can almost be the same as a midfielder who has scored 1 goal and assisted, or even the midfielder will be higher. So those are some of the statistics I personally am considering, and this is how my team would look if I do sell Haaland. So yes, going forward, but I'm thinking of bringing in a Saka for probably a McNeil, because my bank is still, having sold Haaland, my bank is still looking good. And then obviously Trent is also one to be managed, and his money can probably be spent towards at least bringing another top tier striker going forward. So that is how my bench will be looking, and this is how ideally my team would line up with Salah being my captain, and then I would be able to monitor going forward. We did get some news about Son. I kept him after last week that he would have actually started the previous game week, but they decided not to risk him. So I think hopefully, fingers crossed, he can be able to come back for the Aston Villa game, and the fixtures look good. So yes, that is it for me. I know it's a very contentious issue. Get back to me in your comments on what you think about this. I'll be able to respond to all the comments. FPL responsibly, and take care. See you in the next video.